Good morning, everyone. It is the week 2 vlog of Tome Topple. So I mentioned this in the previous vlog, I am almost done Jade City by Fonda Lee. I'm very much looking forward to finishing this. I might just do my best to finish this before I start filming today. It's currently morning time. I usually film like around midday, so I've got some time to kill. I have a very packed day today with Saturdays and with when it comes to filming and editing and stuff. I usually dedicate my Saturdays to filming and editing, and I don't usually read too much. That being said, I want to make sure that I read a good chunk of Jade City by Fonda Lee so that I start this vlog on a high note, and also I'm in readathon mode. Who can stop me? I mean, work and other things can stop me, but where there's a will, there's a way. Just finished Jade City by Fonda Lee, and it was a good time. It was also a very fascinating magic system. What I really wanted from the book was a bit more plot, because as much as it is very much character driven and very family driven, I actually did not expect this to be a family story, although I was familiar with the magic system that had to do with Jade Stone, but it's a lot more complex than I ever imagined it to be, really. That being said, it's not necessarily a 5-star read for me. I liked it, didn't absolutely love it, but maybe Jade War or Jade Legacy will change my mind. I really did enjoy the family dynamic in here. I also very much enjoyed the character of Shay. I do like how Shay kind of wanted to make a name for herself away from her family. Probably my favorite character. This book had pretty small chapters. I just kept on saying one more chapter, no one more chapter, no one more chapter. I can go one more chapter all the time. That's what I do when it comes to books with small chapters. Guys, this is a random update, but I just realized that I do have a 500-page book written by a Black author, which means if I complete it this week, then I complete one of the challenges. I didn't realize I had this book because it's been 2 or 3 years since I purchased it, due to the fact that I have to store pretty much around a third of my books in the shed since I left home. I forgot that I even owned White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Purchased this from an op shop, I think back in 2017 or 2018, and I never got to read it, and this was an anticipated read that I had because I've been recommended this by a friend, and I kind of forgot it was in my book collection because I never actually hold the secondhand books that I purchased at the op shop ever on my channel. I'm technically holding it a few years later, and it's been in my shed due to the fact that moving back in, I could only really use 7 out of my 11 bookshelves because now I live with someone in my room. So a bunch of the books that I own are hidden. White Teeth by Zadie Smith is over 500 pages. I'm very much determined to read this one. It's gonna happen. Good morning! Yes, that's right. It's Sunday. So, you guys might be wondering, geez whiz, it was Saturday yesterday. You weren't even working. You had a perfect opportunity to read. Yes, but I also needed to edit and upload my last week's Tome Topple vlog. And that was a lot of footage, and it was worth it. Spent hours upon hours editing that. And not only that, I filmed my 7 on Sunday, and I had to edit that too. So I literally spent around 10 hours on my channel, literally filming and editing all my footage and uploading it for it to be prepared to be published this morning. And then I read a few chapters of White Teeth by Zadie Smith before I went to bed, and I'm really liking this book so far. Contemporary / historical fiction's not necessarily my thing. However, wow, Zadie Smith has a way with words. I'm really enjoying this book so far. I mean, I know that I was gonna like it and take something out of it, but I didn't realize that I would enjoy it this much, especially because these aren't necessarily genres I usually read. And sometimes when I'm discovering a new author, I usually tend to look at some spoiler-free reviews before reading it. I didn't realize that this was a debut novel. Everybody back in the year 2000 when this book came out was saying that it was just a mind-blowingly amazing debut novel. And I'm reading it right now, and I just can't believe it, honestly, because it's written very well. That's what I have to say about White Teeth. Of what I've read so far. I've got to get a good chunk of reading done, not just of White Teeth, but I want to finally start Neon Genesis Evangelion, the manga. Today, I'm just going to try to go all out, because this is the final day of the weekend that I can spend for Tome Topple. Every other day is going to be a work day. The literal last day of Tome Topple is a Friday. I usually don't even have time to read on Friday, so I gotta read like it's Friday today. Let's get some reading done. let's talk about it. Oh my goodness. Neon Genesis Evangelion, first 3 volumes. This series would be so confusing to anybody who's getting into it for the very first time. If you are planning to read Neon Genesis Evangelion, and if you are not into mechs, this is probably not for you. That being said, I wasn't really that into mechs before watching the anime. Although I have watched Code Geass and I absolutely love Code Geass, I mostly liked it for the other aspects rather than the mechs aspect. While Neon Genesis Evangelion has the best of both worlds as well, the story itself is very highly surrounded by mechs. Go into this thinking that if you are ever going to consider reading it, if you are considering reading it, I'd actually suggest that you try out the anime, but the very first one adapted. I have not watched the new remakes because personally I absolutely love the original, so that is exactly why I wanted to read the manga as soon as I watched the anime. But then again, it is very hilarious. As soon as I finished Evangelion the anime, I wanted to rewatch it there and then, but that's when I decided, no, I've got to experience the manga. Usually when it comes to animes that I absolutely love, I feel the same way. For example, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I think to myself, I really want to rewatch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I think I should also experience the manga at some point because I might be missing out on something, or maybe it just will make me feel nostalgic while reading it. That is one of the many things that I absolutely love about reading manga. I just absolutely love that I'm experiencing this part of the story again. Really actually just want to continue on with this, but I've got to take a break and I've got to continue on with White Teeth. I want to get a good chunk of White Teeth done today because hopefully soon to come this week, I really want to start Kingdom of Copper. Everybody has read Kingdom of Copper and everybody has also read Empire Gold, and look at me, I've only read City of Brass. Anyway, I'm just getting really excited about all the books I could potentially read. Every other tome topple that I've participated in, I usually only read 4 tomes. The reason why I do that is because I also read other small books in between, but I usually only count like the 4 tomes that I read. Being that I'm vlogging and being that I am actually fully immersing myself in tome topple this year, I'm reading a lot more, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it after tome topple, but I love that at the moment I am motivated to get through these tomes. Neon Genesis Evangelion I would have read for fun anyway, but I don't think that I'd be very determined to binge through an entire bind up unless it was for tome topple. Anyway, I'm gonna continue on with White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Everyone, I've spent the last, I'd say 3 hours reading White Teeth. Past halfway, I have 220 or 230 pages left of this book. And what I do have to say about White Teeth by Zadie Smith, I'm just gonna put that right up here so I don't even have to hold it. How good is that? Something I really do like about this book so far are the cultural influences. It also digs deep into religion. I also love that that is a multifaceted aspect of White Teeth as well. There's so much to this book. I also love the family aspects of it, but at the very same time, White Teeth is a very heartbreaking book so far, and I don't actually know how this is gonna end. I can't really predict anything in here. I also really love it when a literary fiction also takes me by surprise, because it has. Yeah, those are my thoughts on White Teeth by Zadie Smith so far. I don't know if I should push myself to finish it or should I wait. I don't know. I think I've just got to take a little bit of a break before I proceed. I know during Tome Topple I've been going full steam ahead, but right now I just feel like I need to chill, take my mind out of it, bring it back later so that I don't feel burnt out. Just doing a quick vlog update. It is currently Sunday night and it's very late. And did I read anything else? No. I also just relaxed and watched BookTube because I spent a lot of time reading White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Wait a second. I did actually read one chapter of White Teeth and the chapters are really long. I will hopefully finish this tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. I mean, you guys will find out anyway when I finish White Teeth by Zadie Smith. See you tomorrow. Hello everyone, happy Monday. I'm vlogging at the end of my workday, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I did an outro to yesterday, and also this morning I literally got out of bed and had to start work immediately because something popped up and it was an urgent task and I really needed to get it done. So I was literally busy this morning. During my lunch break, I was able to get through around 100 pages of White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I want to finish this book tonight. I literally have 100 pages left, which means I have a few chapters left. It's a really good book so far. It's very much well worth it, and I'd love to finish it tonight because there's another book that I really want to at least finish by the end of Tome Topple, Kingdom of Copper. I really want that one done. I want to make space for that one for the rest of the week at least. This novel's a masterpiece. I'm so glad I picked this up. I think I've mentioned this before. It's not a novel that I would usually read, but I bought it secondhand for literally like, what, $1 or $2 because I had a friend who was reading it and they were really enjoying it. They recommended it to me and I thought to myself, okay, $1 or $2 doesn't hurt. I will purchase it and I will read it, see what it's like. And it's been years since I last touched it, essentially. I am very much happy I've read it in this day and age because if I was to read it a few years ago, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I do now. How Zadie Smith is able to write with so much range in her first novel, I just don't understand, but honestly, this is mind-blowing. And it's funny because I actually heard a lot more about her books back in 2015 or 2016. White Teeth is an amazing debut, and you know, it was published back in 2000. I was like literally 5 years old back in 2000. Some of you guys weren't even born, but then again, books like White Teeth feel so timeless. They feel so relevant to this day. They have aged like fine wine. I don't even have the right words to describe how important this read is, but also how much this book contains, because it doesn't even just talk about race, it also talks about religion and family. How you are born and raised in this world affects the way that you live. It is very much fascinating. It explores all those deep subject matters, and I love that. I think I have to give White Teeth around a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars, but it's not something that I would usually read. So it did take me a little bit of time to adjust to, because sometimes I just feel like all of a sudden reading something fantasy or sci-fi like it was still a very good book. It's just fantasy or sci-fi plot lines keep my attention. So unfortunately that influenced a little bit of my reading experience, but nevertheless it's still a really amazing book. I definitely recommend to anybody. If you've been recommended White Teeth by Zadie Smith before, you need to pick it up. It is definitely worth the read. Is it a vlog from G-Swizz if you don't come into the bathroom at least once? I think I did mention in the vlog that I did want to start Kingdom of Copper. Now with this book, I'm going to be doing it a little bit differently. I am going to alternate between reading the book and listening to the audiobook. I have the audiobook available on Audible. It's a pretty chunky book, and the big reason why I also want to alternate between reading it and audiobooking it is because I audiobooked City of Brass, and I'm very much used to it in that format. That's why I'll probably audiobook Kingdom of Copper as well. I'm going to attempt to listen to it while also reading it. When I'm on public transport, I'm not going to be taking this big book around me. It is like pretty heavy. Like my work backpack is already heavy enough with my laptop in it. I'm mostly going to read the physical copy when I'm at home, but when I'm out and about, I'm going to listen to the audiobook. Good morning! Looks like nighttime with my channel lights. So I'm about to leave the house in 20 minutes, but I'll give you an update. Before I went to bed yesterday, I started Kingdom of Copper, but I only read the prologue. The prologue was like 26 pages. So yes, I'm 26 pages into that 600+ page book. Hello, it has been a hot minute since you've seen me. I find it so funny that I said hot minute and I've just turned on the heater. You guys might be wondering, how far did I get into Kingdom of Copper? And I do have to say, I got a fair chunk through. I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm not even like halfway through the book yet when I look at the audiobook. And then I get here and I'm just like, well, I'm pretty darn close. I love it when I am able to listen to an audiobook and also read the book at times, because when you get tired of listening to the audiobook, you pick up the book. And when you get tired of picking up the book and reading the physical book, you can go to the audiobook. So I kind of like that flexibility. I don't do this with every single book that I read. Being that I read so much within a month, I like to kind of spice it up so that I keep everything fresh. And that is what I've done. Because with readathons like Tome Topple, it can get exhausting, especially because every book that you're reading is a high page count. So you've really got to break it up and you've got to make sure that you don't cave into a reading slump. And that is what I'm trying to do here, because I really just need a few more days until I collapse. This is where I'm up to so far. I'm chapter 18 of Kingdom of Copper. Now when I think chapter 18, I'm like, well, this book is like huge anyway, so chapter 18 is nothing. And then all of a sudden I check it and I'm just like, wait a second, I'm on page 295. I mean, my reading speed and my listening speed have been adjusted over the years because I've trained myself to be able to consume media at a faster pace. That is essentially how I'm able to read as much as I am during the week and also listen to audiobooks on a higher speed. I actually do want to get to the halfway mark of this book. So this book is 621 pages. Half of 621 would be 310 and a half pages. I literally have 15 and a half pages until I'm halfway. Dude, if I keep up the same pace, I might just finish it tomorrow. And the cool thing about tomorrow is that I am working from home, which means that I don't necessarily have to worry about commute time / walk time. Oh wait, no, that doesn't actually work in my favor because by walking time, I listen to the audiobook. But anyway, let's see how much I get through tonight. It's only Tuesday. Party's only just starting. Not really, we're actually halfway there, but you know what I mean. I ended up reading around 40 more pages. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from that one. But don't worry guys, I'm planning to do a bit more reading tonight. I'm planning to read Orange by Ichigo Takano. That's how I'm gonna keep it going because I don't want to start a reading slump right now. I just gotta try something new. I got halfway through Orange. You can see I was a sobbing mess. Going to go to the grocery store right now because right now I feel like crying about Orange and I'm only halfway. So good morning. So I couldn't take you guys around the supermarket yesterday because my hands were full. I didn't take it back, gang gang. I'm like doing a normal work day just from home. But today I've also got to go to the RMS/RTA to pick up my driver's license because they couldn't process that the other day. When I'm not working, what I want to do is finish Kingdom of Copper and finish Orange. Sounds crazy considering that that's 2 books. Then I would complete literally 9 books for the Tome Topple. What am I gonna do for the rest of the time? I don't know. I would have to admit defeat with the next full-on tome that I would read after Kingdom of Copper. And I've just decided, you know what? I'm enjoying Kingdom of Copper so much. I'm probably gonna read Empire of Gold next. That being said, with how long it is, I'm most likely not gonna finish that before Tome Topple ends. If I have time to read one more thing, I will either read another bind up of Neon Genesis Evangelion, another bind up of Vagabond, or I will find another 500-page book that seems possible to binge through. We've got 3 more days of Tome Topple, guys. Let's go hard or let's go home. I mean, I'm at home at the moment, so what's the excuse really? Let's go hard from home.
Perfect.
I'm gonna try to do a vlog update out here while it's windy, so please forgive the windy sounds. On the way to the RMS today, I listened to the audiobook of Kingdom of Copper, and on the way back, I did the exact same thing. And now that I am on my break, I got through another 100 pages and I got to a really sad part of the book. I really want to continue on, but I have to continue working. I don't take advantage of this enough at the moment because it's winter time here in Australia, but the temperature is very good today. So sitting outside during lunchtime is just key. I am going to update you guys and hopefully finish Kingdom of Copper tonight. From this point, I think I have 140 pages left. Just quickly before I go back to work, I mentioned to you guys that I keep books in the shed. Yeah. So this is my shed. I mean, it's very messy, very packed. I mean, this is technically one half of my shed. There's a border here. That's where all my Funko Pops are. And the reason why I haven't unpacked some of my Funko Pops is because I don't actually know how long I'm staying at home. That is the situation. But also, some of the books are packed away because it makes space for the bed that Camilo and I now share, as well as some extra drawers and extra storage stuff that comes with sharing a room between two people. So that explains why around a good chunk of my books are actually kept in these bags over here. But we ran out of bags, so there are a few here. Some of them we just can't fit on our own shelf. And the cool thing is that I can go on my Goodreads on my to be read shelf to see what books I still have stored in my shed. That is how I track how many books that I do own, and if they are not on my bookshelf, I can just go to the shed, pick a book out. So that's what I do. If you guys had no idea and are wondering how I store my book, this has been the storage solution since I moved out of home and since I moved back into home with Camilo. Alright, we're back to headquarters. I'm David Bad Trash. Oh my goodness, there's so much I want to say, but there's so much I'm not gonna say because you guys did not subscribe to my channel, nor did you watch this vlog to come for spoilers. So I'm not gonna say anything, but let's just say since I finished filming my footage of me reading and my reaction, I watched a few theory videos, and that's all I'm gonna leave it at because there are theory videos for Empire of Gold. And the funny thing is, Empire of Gold is already out. I am going to read Empire of Gold like almost straight away. I also have that book on audiobook, so I'm going to listen to that, and I'm not going to get that done during Tome Topple. I'm just going to admit defeat right now because it's like 750 pages. If I decided to read Kingdom of Copper earlier, I would have. You know what? I'm going to go through some of it. It still counts as a tome, but I only really have 2 days left, and I don't even know if I'm going to get that much reading done on Friday. It's not going to fully count as a completed tome, but it's going to count as a Tome Topple read for sure. I am planning to finish Orange probably tonight. Just finished this book that completely destroyed me. So I'm just gonna go from one book that destroyed me to a book that was internally destroying me yesterday. Like literally 2 minutes before I finished this, my camera battery died, so I had to replace the battery. I've had this book on my shelf, I'd say, for the last 3 years, and what I can say is I can't believe I held it off for so long. However, I am happy. I have read a lot more manga since. I don't know if I would have gotten into it easily or enjoyed the full experience if I didn't, and I did. The reason why I don't think I'm going to count Orange Volume 2 in this is because I'm pretty sure the bind up has a lot of of extras in it that aren't really a part of the Orange series, so it wouldn't really count properly for Tome Topple, because if I decide not to read manga excerpts at the end, then it's not going to amount to 500 pages. So I'm not going to use that as another term for Tome Topple, only because that's kind of not abiding by the rules. I think I give this one around a 4 out of 5 stars, because when it comes to manga, my favorite kind of mangas are not usually slice of life type of ones. I did like the kind of twist where it's letters being sent from the future to the past, so it kind of has that little magical realism twist. However, it's not usually the kind of manga that I can easily sink my teeth into, so it did take me a while to adjust to. Also, I'm not a fan of every single one of the characters, but I find it really wholesome. I give this one a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm definitely looking forward to concluding the series. Those are my thoughts on Orange. What up, book lovers? It is Thursday, and guess what? I have a package. I did not receive any book mail this week until Thursday, and that's a good thing because it didn't really cost me too much considering how much it could have costed me. I bought them in bulk because they were bargains, and it was the last day of a manga sale. I'm gonna quickly show you what I got. Yeah, there's not really that much variety. I got the Promised Neverland series. I don't have volume 4 because volume 4 was not on sale, and I do not have volume 15 because once again it was not on sale. But all of these each in Australia, they usually cost around $15. I ended up getting each of these for 11 bucks. Just couldn't resist because I knew that if I was gonna collect these over time, I'd be saving a lot more money. I'm gonna be going to work today. Before I'm gonna be going to work today, I'm thinking of filming a video on my channel that has nothing to do with my vlog. But in terms of reading, I'm going to start and kind of continue because I actually listened to the prologue yesterday, Empire of Gold. Then hopefully tonight, maybe I might finish an Evangelion tome. I'm back in the bathroom. Camilla is doing class at the moment. Work has just finished. First of all, I'm gonna say it. I have no idea what the heck I'm doing to read or listen this fast. And I'm just gonna call myself right now. I'm ridiculous. G-Swizz, you are ridiculous. How did you expect to only get through like 5 books during this readathon when you're in the middle of a 10th and you're probably gonna finish a 10th tonight? You're probably going to end this readathon with like 10.5 books or almost 11 books. I just don't know why I am just so obsessed right now when it comes to like reading and listening. I don't know, I'm just so immersed, and this is a very good feeling because it's very productive in terms of reading life. Maybe it's because when I'm not working, I want to completely escape. The reason why I mention what I did is because I'm in the middle of this chunky boy, which I didn't even expect to start during this readathon. I did mention in my TBR if I feel overly ambitious, which I obviously do, that I would pick up Empire of Gold. I only expected to get like 200 pages into this book today, like listening wise. I'm gonna show you guys how far I'm in. I found out I'm on chapter 26. 300
187
out of a 750 page book. These books have massive chapters, and not only that, actually, these books are very easy to read, not just because of the way I listen to the audiobook, but also these books have my favorite font type. The reason why I have a favorite font type is because the first time I got so immersed in a book trilogy, that was Divergent. And you will notice, if you read the Divergent books, they have a specific font to them. That font makes me feel nostalgic, and for some reason, it makes it easier to read. I feel the exact same reason about the Daevabad trilogy. Their books have very easy to read font, and for some reason, I get lost in it to the point that I read the books so quickly. Like, it's not even just the audiobooks, it's also the font of the book. I don't know if anybody else can identify, but this is something that I've gone through for like a very long time with books. When it comes to a book's font, it means everything to me. I don't actually anticipate finishing it this readathon because tomorrow I have work and I have date night. Those are the final moments of this readathon, so I can't actually anticipate reading anything tomorrow. That being said, I am planning to finish a book tonight. I'm planning to start and finish Neon Genesis Evangelion, the second bind-up, which consists of volumes 4 to volume 6. And I think this manga bind-up in total is 550 pages. I am going to read and binge all of this while Camilo is in class tonight, so that when he's done and stuff, I don't have to worry about it. Let's see if I can complete my 10th book for the Tome Topple readathon. That's a pretty tragic ending. I love how this bind-up ends on one of the craziest cliffhangers ever. I remember watching this episode of Evangelion and I remember being so shocked that this had to happen, and so I love that it stirs the pot even more that this is the end of a bind-up. If any of you guys have read the end of volume 6, something that kind of is game-changing for one of the characters, they're forced to do something they don't want to, and it's just tragic. With this bind-up, I was liking it even more than the first one until the third volume in it, so volume 6. As much as a lot of people do not like Asuka, she is a very polarized character. She is introduced to the series. I find that she adds a lot to the series. Even though I do not like her attitude most of the time, I actually enjoy her as a character. Seeing her put into the series actually makes it pretty entertaining. Also, the banter between Misato and Keiji, though I'm not the biggest fan of Keiji as a character, I like their banter. Love the cast of characters, even though a lot of people find them to be unlikable characters. I find the characters to make the story pretty entertaining, though I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of their character traits, or their character flaws rather. I still really do enjoy the series, and I actually find these characters to be very human. Volumes 4 and 5, I'd have to give them a 5 out of 5 stars. I really love those ones. But in terms of volume 6, I'd have to give it a 3 out of 5 stars because it took a while to actually get through compared to the other two volumes. The other two volumes kind of gave me all the nostalgia. Volume 6 took a while to get through, and the main part I remember it for was at the very end. Those are my thoughts on Evangelion, and I just read my 10th book. I don't know how to process this. Well, I'm gonna continue on with Empire of Gold. I don't know how I'm gonna go back to life after Tome Topple. We'll see what's next up in this vlog. Hi guys, I forgot to introduce today. Today's the last day of Tome Topple. I've listened to a bit of the Empire of Gold audiobook. It's really good, and I'm just being very quiet because my voice echoes and a lot of people could hear me. it, but I got a chopper. I didn't film once again, but I got another chopper. That's our happy hole. Happy hole.
Rats, rats, we are the rats, 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 we are the rats, 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 we are the rats, 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 we are the rats.
I couldn't film the rest of the night because you know that drink that we had? I had a bit too much. I was dropping things left, right, and center, so I knew if I was to hold my camera for the rest of the night, this Canon G7X would have broken. And not on my watch. That's not happening. So I'm gonna give you the Tome Topple wrap up tomorrow because I'm clearly not in the state to do it right now. So here we are at the very end of Tome Topple. Before I proceed with the wrap-up, I want to talk about the books that we got at Kino yesterday. Camillo bought Land of the Lustrous Volume 3. As I mentioned previously, we are collecting these together because we both loved the anime and we want to read the manga together and want to see what happens next. And I purchased The Promised Neverland Volumes 4 and 15. I decided to purchase these volumes, obviously, because I received the other ones in the mail, but I didn't receive these two because they weren't on sale and I knew that I could get them cheaper at Kinokuniya with my Kino card. I ain't half mad with this stack. First of all, this week I completed Jade City by Fonda Lee, and I actually don't know if this completed any challenges. I do know that this was the book that I wanted to read the most going into the readathon. I thought I would love it just as much as the Daevabad trilogy, but unfortunately this wasn't the highlight of the readathon. That being said, I actually want to reread this one to dive back into the world. But that being said, I did enjoy the story, I did enjoy the plot, and I enjoyed the family dynamic. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read another book that I was really prioritizing this Tome Topple, Neon Genesis Evangelion Bind Up. I read it so quickly, I loved it, and it just gave me all the feelings of discovering Evangelion again. Really liked this one. I love the intro to this series. The next book I completed this week was White Teeth by Zadie Smith, and this was a phenomenal surprise. Oh my goodness, I am so happy that I picked this up during Tome Topple because I discovered a new classic. This book completes the prompt to read a book by a Black author. As much as I do want to pick up Americana in the future, I might do that for a future Tome Topple readathon, I only knew the day before I picked up this book that I was gonna read it. This book is so good, and I actually see a lot of negative reviews about it on Goodreads. I mean, I've noticed them. I went on Goodreads to write my review, and that's when I realized, wow, like I might be in the minority here. I really love this book. And then I moved on to Kingdom of Copper, and I was thinking to myself that this is probably gonna be the final tome that I am going to be able to read during Tome Topple. I am Daevabad trash. This series is really good. I know you guys have been telling me to pick this series up, and I do mention this on my channel. I am very critical when it comes to Arabic fantasy or Arabic inspired fantasy because I am Arabic myself, and for some reason a lot of my experiences with reading Arabian fantasy, it's usually missed the mark for me. Sometimes it feels like a little bit of a whitewashed version of Disney's Aladdin. I probably lost a bunch of you guys there, but it's true. You can hate this Lebanese woman all you want, I don't care. See, this is why Aladdin is my least favorite Disney movie ever. I mean, they didn't even cast an Arabic actress to play Jasmine, for sake. But the Daevabad trilogy does not feel like that at all. The cultural references that are written in this book feel so homely to me. They feel so familiar to me. I never felt like there was poor representation in here. What I appreciate about S.A. Chakraborty as an author is that they've taken time to write these cultural influences in the best way they possibly can. And also take the time to write a really compelling story at the very same time. A very memorable story. A story where we are so focused and surrounded by these characters, but also the plot. It's just that perfect balance of everything. It makes me a proud Leb woman. And then we move on to a tearjerker. I started the Orange series by Ichigo Takano. I knew the premise of the story was essentially to save someone's life. I put it into perspective. I'm in love with someone, and reading Orange made me think to myself, what if that was the person I loved? Sometimes books get me like that, so I started tearing up at the very beginning of the book. This all being said, I gave this bind up 4 out of 5 stars. Speaking of manga, the very last book I completed for the Tome Topple was the second bind up of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I love this one even more than the first one. This bind up, I gave 2 of the volumes 5 out of 5 stars and 1 of them 3 out of 5 stars. And then we come to the book that I'm currently reading, which I did not complete for Tome Topple, but I started during Tome Topple, and I used the rest of the motivation that I had to read during the readathon to put energy into this tome. I've only got 200 pages left. I am so happy for me. Tome Topple, August 2020. A major success. Yes, that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you enjoyed this readathon vlog, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already joined the amazing community of book lovers. I also have social medias. I'm at gswizzlebooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.